Welcome back to Tom's World Scale Model Series. In this episode, we unbox Takom's 1/35th scale quarter-ton utility truck. If you enjoy programming on scale modeling, then show your support by subscribing to this channel. Leave us a comment, like, dislike, or share the video with friends. Clicking the notification bell gives you alerts when we post new content. Or visit the channel Tom's World for a friendly visit for a complete list of all our videos. When we decided to build the Willys Jeep on the series, we originally planned to build Takom's 2019 release, but at the time the Takom unboxing was sold out everywhere, so we ended up building Meng's version instead. No regrets since the Meng product was superb. The build was really fun and the finished model looked fantastic. Our attention then turned to other projects. An Opel truck, an M3 Stewart, a KV1, and a Sturmgeschütz followed soon after. While the Takom Willys was temporarily shelved, my interest in the kit never really waned, and although a few years have passed, the wait was over and the much anticipated Takom kit finally found its way onto our workbench. So stay with us as we unbox Takom's superb, if not elusive, US Army Willys Jeep kit. Hey fellow model builders, welcome back and thank you so much for joining me again. Well, here it is at long last. I'm excited to build the Takom kit, and it'll also give us an opportunity to compare it to the Meng version which we built earlier on the series. In this episode we won't delve too deeply into the history or some of the more intriguing aspects of the Jeep, so if you're interested in learning more about the Willys, you may want to check out our Meng Jeep episode. We'll put the link to the Meng episode in the comments if you want to check it out. So this boxing will be kit number 2126. It was released in 2019 and it retails today for about 28 US or 39 Canadian dollars. And here are the box dimensions so we have an idea of the actual size of the packaging. We noticed right away the conspicuous absence of the word Jeep on the cover, and we discussed the trademark restrictions that apply when using the word Jeep in our Meng episode. Instead, Takom opted to refer to the vehicle as the US Army quarter-ton utility truck. The Willys Jeep went by many names during the war, so referencing it as a quarter-ton utility truck is accurate, if not commonplace. So starting with a quick tour around the box, on two sides we have the graphics so we can tell what the product is when the box is sitting on a shelf. This side has a full color profile view of the vehicle with its trailer. And this side, which I like a lot but not too many manufacturers do this, we can see a sprue chart. This shows us exactly what's in the box. This is great since we can tell a lot about the kit even before opening the box. The obvious difference in this kit as opposed to Meng's offering is that Takom gives us a trailer and figure. The kit also has a small PE sheet which the Meng kit doesn't include. This is interesting since despite the Takom kit containing more value-added features, its price is actually $2 cheaper than the Meng kit. At this point in our unboxings, we usually have a segment that shows what other manufacturers offer models of the vehicles we're featuring. We did that already in our Meng Jeep episode, so we won't repeat here. So if you'd like to see which other manufacturers make Jeep kits, our Meng Jeep episode is definitely recommended. Well, time to crack the box. This is always the exciting part. So just to say, if you do buy this kit, it may not be packed exactly as we see here, since I rummaged through the boxes before recording the videos. So this kit has 6 sprues, the frame and chassis come in 2 loose parts. We also get a small PE sheet and a small decal sheet. Total of 207 parts in the Takom kit. That's compared to the 126 parts that comprise the Meng kit. Yes, and although the Takom kit comes with a trailer and figure, but as we'll see, the Takom kit overall builds up with more parts. We'll lay everything out so we can see what we get in the box. Starting with the instructions, again we get the patented tiny booklet, which is a feature of Takom kits that I've never really liked. Given the small size of my hand, we get a sense of just how teeny these things are. While the booklet doesn't take up much bench space, the strain on the eyes is annoying. Takom gets it right sometimes, as this instruction booklet from the Yak Tiger kit shows, but on this build our neck and eyes will definitely get a workout. We won't go through all the instructions in detail, but I did want to touch on a few issues that come up during the build. On the cover, we find a brief write-up, and it touches on the astonishing number of Willys built from 1941 to 1945. With 650,000 units produced, the volume constituted 25% of all non-combat vehicle production during World War II. The next page has our obligatory safety cautions and build symbols. Decal application and working with PE instructions are also here, as well as a paint guide. Next comes a sprue map, which I really like. It helps us locate parts and keeps our building organized. Not all manufacturers do this, so I like that Takom includes one. First thing we'll notice is that the front wheels are not posable. When we look at the plastic, we can see that the boot that the front wheel attaches to is one piece to the axle. And it doesn't really look like it's going to be too easy without major surgery to pose those wheels. So that's one issue I don't like, whereas the Meng kit, the wheels were posable. You can also see that the wheels are two parts. That's not unusual, but here they're doing the second part on the back of the wheel, which is reminiscent of the way Tamiya does it. It's just a little bit easier to hide that seam. And here we're just putting in the engine. There's some really great detail on that engine. I did find a really interesting aftermarket detail kit that we'll look at a little bit later, but great detail, very comparable to the way Meng builds up their engine as well in their Jeep. Here we're putting in, let's see, the muffler, the drivetrain, and we do notice that Takom, unlike Meng, breaks up the Jeep body into two parts, the passenger compartment and the engine compartment. But in this step here, we're dropping the engine in and we're getting some of our stick shift and our handbrake and other things into the cockpit. And here we can see that two-part body and engine compartment, which isn't a big deal. Here we're putting in our radiator. We've got a little piece for the brush guard on the light, which looks to me like it's styrene, so yeah, we'll have to see if that's good in scale. So here we're just putting in some of the parts on the firewall, the back gate. We got the little horn there we can see. One thing we also want to mention is that the Meng kit, unlike the Takom kit, unlike the Meng kit, doesn't come with that wire cutter part, which I rather like, which we don't find here in the Takom kit, which is a little disappointing. In step 11, we do see that we attach our hood now. It does not come out of the box, so we can pose it open, which seems like a shame given all the beautiful detail in the engine. Whereas the Meng kit, it did give you the option of posing the hood up. So we'll have to see when during our build episode whether we can actually pose that hood up to show that beautiful engine. One thing we do want to notice is that the little locks for the hood do come as separate parts. This is what I mean about the Takom kit building up with more parts. Whereas the Meng kit, they actually molded on those little lockdowns. Here we're applying our decals to our dashboard, our instrumentation. We'll look at those in a minute. And then one thing we do want to notice is we're looking for knockout scars on the back of the seats. Most kits, I notice, especially in Tamiya and indeed our Meng kit, they all had knockouts on the back that we had to fix. So I'm curious to see if that's the same case here for the Takom kit. So we do see here also in step 15 that we get a couple of different options for the windshield. We do have one option where the windshield wipers are actually molded on. We also have the option of attaching some PE windshield wipers. Let's see here. So we're just putting in our covers for our toolbox. Let's see what else. Yeah, again, we do see that we have separate little parts for the hood tie downs, which are going to be very, very tiny. Now notice also part D2. This is a little bugaboo with me, which is found in pretty much all these plastic styrene truck kits, is that the mirror is a solid piece and we don't get any kind of mirror material. So it's a little bit disappointing that that wasn't a clear part, or they give us a little bit of mylar material there. So we'll have to see how we're going to tackle that. Again, we've got a little jerry can extra here, the spare wheel, we've got the steering wheel going in, and we do notice that we do get the 50 caliber mod deuce in the Takom kit, whereas the Meng kit actually came with the 50 and the 30 caliber, so that's an extra point for the Meng kit there. And here we're just putting together our trailer, which again, the Meng kit does not come with a trailer. So this is a really nice addition, very nice addition, and it doesn't cost us any extra. And here we're just attaching the trailer, and we do get our instructions on how to put together our figure, which again, the Meng kit does not come with a figure. So the trailer and the figure are little extras that you get in the Takom kit as opposed to the Meng kit. Here we see we get decals and paint application instructions for 4 different vehicles. 3 of them are from the May-June 1945 era, after Germany's defeat and during the occupation. There's 2 markings for 2 military police units and 1 for the 557th Aircraft Artillery Unit. And we also get markings for 1 Korea War era vehicle, which I find really interesting. And that's going to be the United States Marine Corps, a unit serving in the Chosin Reservoir, Korea, November to December 1950. Of course, the Battle of Chosin was a very famous battle where UN forces were encircled by the Chinese army and fought a bloody battle in freezing temperatures to break out. We should also notice that the olive drab on the Korean War era vehicle is slightly different from the olive drab used during World War II. And finally, we do get a paint guide for our figure. And we do have a couple little decals for him as well. So that's included here on the final page, and then we get a little ad for a couple of different vehicles that Takom offers. Starting with the various and sundries, we get a little bag containing our PE and decals. The photo edge sheet includes the windshield brackets, towing hook detail, and other assorted embellishments. In the Meng kit, we get chunky styrene parts for the windshield brackets, so a point goes to Takom here for detail. There's our windshield wiper blades top right. Here a number 11 hobby blade for comparison shows just how small these parts are. Next up, our decal sheet. We get markings for 4 different vehicles. Looks like the sheet is a Takom brand, so no cartograph decals here. Looking at the instrument gauges, parts 28 to 32, they're not great. In fact, a couple of them look like just black blobs. Parts 38 and 39 are the placards. They're passable in scale. Still, the instrument gauge decals on the Meng kit were crisper. Here's a side-by-side comparison. The rest of the decals are standard fare. You can see the carrier film that we need to cut away. Note the yellow marine markings for the Korean War era vehicle. A little bubble wrap packet contains our frame. The casting in Takom kits is always very fine with delicate molding and fine detail. I like the natural gray styrene that Takom uses too in this kit. Here we see just how small the model will be when finished. And here's our clear sprue. We get 2 headlight lenses and 2 versions of the windshield, one with the wipers molded on. With the other windshield version, we can opt to attach the PE wipers. Meng's kit only had 1 windshield with the wipers molded on the windscreen frame. And one final little bag contains our figure and passenger compartment. The Meng kit doesn't come with a figure, so point goes to Takom here. The detail and casting, like on the rest of the kit, are superb. The folds on the clothing are well defined, and we even get crisp detail in the legging buckles. The Takom kit builds up the body with 2 parts. Here's the rider's compartment. Note the bottom of the compartment is smooth, which is consistent with the real Willys as we see here. And moving on to our sprues, here's A for Alpha. Right away we see the kit has some really small parts. Takom casts these hood latches and windshield lockdowns separately, whereas the Meng kit molds them on. This is a good example of why the Takom kit is considered more involved and intricate to build than Meng's kit. Here's our jerry can handles and lids. And here's the 50 caliber 12.7mm Modus machine gun. Unfortunately, the Takom kit only comes with the 50, whereas the Meng kit also includes a 30 caliber machine gun. Nonetheless, Takom's sculpting and casting are some of the best in the business. Note the slide molded hollow barrel tip, absolutely amazing. And here are engine parts, very detailed, finely molded. Having seen the Takom and Meng Jeep engine parts, we see they're very similar in terms of detail and build-up. Next up, our Bravo sprue, which has our trailer parts. Thankfully, there are no knockout scars on the top surface of the bed. The bottom is nicely detailed, but we do have knockout depressions here. Normally we don't bother filling these, but for contest building, filling or hiding them with mud is a good idea. Thankfully, we find no knockout scars on either the exterior or interior trailer bed sides. The trailer wheels are beautifully cast and the detailing is crisp. Here's our C for Charlie sprue. To my eye, this Takom version of the steering wheel is closer to scale than the one that came in the Meng kit. Looking back at the Meng steering wheel, it looks a bit more chunky. Here we can compare both kit steering wheels to the real Willys. And here's our holstered M1 Garand. This is the one that gets mounted on the back of the windshield base. We also get a second unholstered Garand and a separate holster on another sprue, in case we want to build this up in 2 parts rather than 1. The detail is so fine on the leaf springs that the camera doesn't even pick up the ridges on the edges of the leaves. The wheel boots are really nicely detailed. The casting is really crisp. And the tires here look great. Each has a different hub depending on its location on the vehicle. And here we have the differentials on our 4x4 Willys. Again, nicely detailed. Our seat cushions have texturing which beautifully captures the feel of canvas. Unfortunately, as suspected, the front seats have knockouts on their back. We've encountered this issue before in our Meng Jeep kit and the Tamiya Kuba wagon. We'll have to put in a little bit of work to fill these in. Next up is our sprue D for Delta. The hood piece checks out and has the rubber windshield bumpers molded on. But unfortunately, the kit doesn't give us the option to pose the hood open, at least not out of the box. The inside of the hood is another story. There are knockouts. These will need to be tended to if we decide to pose the hood open. And here's our tailgate and instrument panel, again indicative of the superb detail found in this kit. The interior surface of the tailgate also has knockouts, but these get covered so no filling is needed here. And here's the blackout light brush guard. The issue is, on the Willys, the brush guards are metal and thin. Most styrene brush guards that come in kits are too thick and out of scale. Some kits give us PE ones. The Takom guard is styrene, but pretty good in terms of detail. We also have knockout scars on the back of the windshield frame. They're very shallow, so easy to clean up, and may even get covered by the Garant. The engine compartment is slide molded, and Takom correctly molds 9 cooling slots in the grille. The Willys Jeep has a side mirror, and all kits usually cast these as solid pieces. Depicting a scale mirror is always a challenge, and none of these kits come with a clear part or silver foil to help us. One part I found fascinating is a spare tire bracket, since it illustrates Takom's amazing styrene molding. The piece is multi-dimensional with lots of undercuts, which presents unique challenges to injection molding. Although there are many aftermarket accessories for the 1/35th scale Willys, this printed kit caught my eye. It's manufactured by T-Rex Studios out of China. I love this upgrade, but at $59 US or 84 Canadian dollars plus shipping, it's a little too rich for us here at Tom's World. We'll stick to building out of the box for the series, so we get a good look at the kit in its original form. And that'll do it for this episode. Check back soon for more unboxings, builds, and painting and weathering videos coming up soon. In the meantime, why not subscribe to the channel? Otherwise, leave us a like, dislike, share the video, or feel free to ravage us in the comments. Or mosey on down to the channel Tom's World to see a list of all our educational and entertaining videos. Until then, keep your communications and logistic lines open, stay well, and all the best.